All right, we're live now. We're live. We're going to be talking about REdao, and my goal with this is to try and condense, like into 15 minutes, basically what is REdao, meeting a couple of co-founders. So I'll invite everyone up to the stage. Dev and Dapper, please give yourselves an introduction. Thanks for coming on.
Thank
I'll
you.
go. Yeah, thank you very much. Thanks. Thanks for having us, Seb. Pleasure to be here. I'm the dev of REdao. Basically, quick introduction. Started my crypto journey around a decade ago, and mainly was interested in trading. But then discovered that I want to trade in my sleep as well. So I started learning how to code, and et cetera, et cetera. And then I discovered that also designing and creating protocols is also great fun. So I started doing that. And REdao is one of my first projects as the dev. So REdao is my first project as a dev, and then we have a bunch of other projects coming up. So the dev life has found me, and I love combining dev and trading.
Cool. And Dapper?
Yeah.
Well, what are you doing?
Doing great, thank you. And obviously, me and Dev, actually everyone on the team in REdao, we all know each other in real life. We're all friends in real life. And but yeah, I have more like a background in trading, stock shares, equities, that sort of thing. Saw what Dev was doing on the crypto side, and about 7 years ago, I started getting heavily involved with crypto as well. And yeah, we're trying to push forward with REdao. REdao is the umbrella, would you say, like company or project, and we want to build many more things underneath it.
Cool. All right. Well, let's put it on the screen, and let's see if this works with this layout. Not quite. Maybe this layout. All right. Talk us through what is REdao.
Cool. Yeah. Well, REdao, it's launched in February. Currently has a market cap of $575,000. It's been around for 5 months. It's a long-term project. It's not your quick pump and dump like most other what meme coins kind of the meta is right now. It's geared towards long-term growth and building new products and LPing ecosystem tokens that are going to help benefit the project as a whole. And it's incremental gains. That's what we're all about. So there's 3 like underlying core mechanics that REdao employs in its tokenomics. The first one is the floor price concept that we can see up here on the screen. And it's the floor price is where the DAO can basically buy all the tokens in existence. So that's going to be this line here, but it's actually a line that's ever increasing because it's backed by a reserve of LSTs, and LSTs are stake Solana. And if you look on like the BSOL Sol chart or any other LST, they're always outpacing the value of Solana. And so the treasury that REdao holds, 80% of that's held in these LSTs. But there's also some of it that's held in DCA bids underneath the floor. So this is where REdao will step in and actually buy up the token RE if it was the market price was to fall below the floor price. It has happened about 3 times, and so we've burnt a decent amount of supply, about 3%. So yeah, RE is deflationary, but this floor price is ever increasing. Yes. So, but that also leads to some great lending opportunities for the RE token, because yes, you can borrow with Textrify. The current LTV is around 50%. That means that you can borrow with an incredibly low liquidation risk. Now moving on to the second one, the second core mechanic that's underlying in REdao. That's
Can you zoom in on that on your screen?
Yes, I can indeed. Great. Thank you. So there's these different bonding periods, but RE is only issued into the market when someone bonds for one of these set periods. Otherwise, it's fixed supply. So each emission is balanced with an equivalent inflow of Sol into the treasury, which means that it's inflationary, but yes, it's controlled by demand. You can see these 3 different bonding periods. If you were to choose, and what bonding is, it's basically, you can think of it time-based staking, but you're coming in with Solana to buy RE. And if you were choosing the 1-day period, so you'd get your RE after 1 day, there's no multiplier on it. If you were choosing to bond for 7-day period, then you would get 3.3% more tokens. And if you were to choose the 14-day period, you would get 8.8% more tokens. So there's these different buyout multipliers also. We also have the third underlying mechanic for the
Can you zoom that on
Yeah,
in a little? Yeah,
I can indeed again, sorry.
great.
The RE token is deflationary supply token, which started at 2 billion, much like Bitcoin does with halving emissions. RE also employs the same mechanic, but with Bitcoin, it's a time-based or block-based halving. With RE, it is actually supply-based. So once we have reached 1 billion tokens emitted, then we'll move on to the second epoch. And that basically means that, in effect, it doubles the bonding price. And this type of emission allows for more participation from the wider market and limits the amount of early sniping. And yeah, so when RE flows into the treasury, it's basically built up, or there's 3 different pathways it can flow into. It can flow into the floor reserve, which is, yes, 80% of the actual of the Sol flowing in. It can flow into the surplus reserve, 10%, and that's used to LP RE Sol and to help supply liquidity on the market. We've actually come up with a new surplus strategy where there's going to be governance votes on which tokens to LP with RE. And RE is used as a governance token for this. And then the remaining 10% flows into the dev fund, and that's just used for operational costs to keep RE running and to pay for dev that he is working on Limitless now. And Limitless is going to be rev share. So the revenue that's created from Limitless is flowing back into REdao, flowing back into the floor price. So this reserve that REdao has, and back to the REdao passes. And these are the NFTs for REdao. With all of 777 were given out for free to different communities, and their redacted utility is they're going to get rev share from Limitless. And I guess that's a good segue to go over to Dev before.
Yes, indeed. So
maybe before we jump into that, let me just share my screen and I'll ask a few things because you're going to talk about Limitless. Is that right, Dev?
yes, so that's the first project that we're going to be launching as a DAO. So it's,
okay.
Yeah.
I'll ask you a couple of questions on this, and if anyone has any questions, just flick them in and we'll have a look at them. So one thing with REdao, can we still go and take any spam or scam NFTs and burn them and turn them into RE?
Yes, we definitely can. It's a little bit of a side mechanic for the token. That's why I honestly didn't really mention it, because it's the core mechanics of the token that really matter. But yeah, you can go and burn any rugged NFT because NFTs have rent within them. Some do, most do. Not CNFTs. You can't burn CNFTs with us, though.
Okay, that's fine. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that you just need to be very vigilant to not accidentally burn something that has value. Like, I don't know if this does. Everything does. I don't know what this is, but maybe this one could, but I don't think I have any rugs in this, but you would go and select something and you would get a certain amount of RE or 7 days or 14 days. And then that's one thing that you can do. Another thing I just wanted to ask is, given that the RE price is, essentially based on the Sol price, to a greater or lesser degree. Can you explain why Re's token price has just escalate? It's just jumped up so much. I don't know why my chart's doing this, but it's like up 200%. Yet Sol price is not up 200%, and say since June.
Yeah, indeed. So I mean, if you were to look back on the REdao ID, yeah, and then go on to dashboard here on the side, and dashboard is where you're going to find a lot of your information about the token. You can scroll down, you can see the chart here. So yes, ReUSD has gone up a lot, but ReSol has also gone up. So you can always, there's two different markets for Re. It's going to be the top chart for you there. You're going to see that we're kind of, the market price is in between these bonding prices right now. So the bottom diagonal line, that's going to be your 14-day bonding price. And then on top of that's the 7-day bonding price. And on top of that, because, yeah, there's these different prices for that. But Re is linked to Solana because obviously we have this underlying treasury that is held in Sol. So yeah, the ReUSD chart is going to move when Sol pumps, so does Re versus USD, basically.
Maybe I didn't do this the best, but I thought because Sol hadn't really done much over the last few months, but it looked as though Re had outperformed Sol.
Yeah, so it definitely has. When we're back on that REdao.id chart, you can definitely see that we've been pumping. It started lower in the beginning of this, and you're not going to be able to see all of the history here that the way it works on REdao.id. But yeah, within a short amount of period of time, we have been pumping versus Sol.
But
and that kind of,
why is that?
So if I may, so it essentially boils down to the floor price. So essentially, when the Re token is very close to the floor, what you end up having is a really, like, how do you say, beneficial risk to reward ratio, right? Because you have a buyer who's gonna infinitely buy the coin up, and the price can only momentarily go below the floor price. So what this essentially means is that, you know, instead of the token being able to go to zero, it can only go to the floor price. So essentially what the floor price does is that it pushes zero up, right? So the floor price becomes the new zero. So what that essentially means is when the retoken price is really close to the floor price, your risk reward is basically like really good, right? And at that point, it becomes, how do you say, a good idea to buy the retoken, right? Because your risk is limited, but your upside is kind of high, right? And in this case, so, and then the whole kind of idea between REdao is that we trap the price between the floor price and then the bonding price. So we don't let the token fly off too high, right? So we kind of tame the speculative mania, right? Because then you get a big pump and then you get a big dump, right? And then people get, kind of, I don't know, salty or angry, but it's like, yeah, so it's like we've trapped the price, and then once enough demand flows in, right, the roof, which is the bonding price, essentially doubles, right?
Yeah.
And ideally, whilst the demand is flowing in, the floor is also rising, right? So it's kind of like an engineered market where you have a set risk and then you have a set reward, right? So it's unlikely that the price will go way above the bonding price, right? Because then people would arb it in. They would basically sell their Re, right? And then they would rebond or do whatever, right? But in this case, then money flows into the treasury, which then raises the floor price. And when the floor price gets raised, right, the zero goes up again. So then your risk reward becomes even better if the token price goes down again. So it's kind of like this ebb and flow that is captured by the floor price and then the bonding price.
All right.
And then
you,
yeah.
Cool. So that's starting to get quite technical and not like super explain like I'm 5. But
yeah.
But we'll end it there because we want to keep this concise, and we also want to make sure that I think we've got the point there. It goes between here. If the price starts to go from down to here, if people start to sell it down here, this could be, nothing's financial advice, this could be a good idea to buy it down here because it's not going to go past the floor. And if it does, the treasury will reenact and buy it. And then it can start to go up. That's a bit of the TLDR gist on that.
Yes.
Okay, cool. And you mentioned that with texture, it's enabled in texture, so I can go and connect Solflare, speed read the terms and conditions, and I can go and take out a loan against Re.
Yes.
So cool. All right. So if we want to do REdao, don't have much in this wallet, but I can go and take out a small loan if I want to. All right, cool. And the final thing you mentioned is these were given out for free. This is the REdao Pass, and this has redacted utility in terms of revenue sharing for Limitless, which is what you're about to talk about now.
Yes. So I don't know if Martin, Dappa, could you share your screen and then put up the tokenomics for Limitless? I sent you a link in the Discord.
All right, I'll just put my screen back until your screen's ready, Dapper, and then when it's ready, you let me know.
It's ready.
Great.
Yeah, so this is like the basic tokenomics of Limitless. So you have all these platforms now, you know, the one that should not be mentioned, the Pump.Fun, right, MemeChan, etc., right? They collect fees on all the trades. And they basically take all that fee money and then they keep it to themselves, and they don't really redistribute it or recycle it, right? But then the whole meme with REdao is recycling, right? So we want to collect, you know, take this speculative fervor, right, and capture some value from it, and then, you know, save it for a rainy day, you could say, right, or like recycle it back into the REdao, right? So REdao pass holders, they will be getting 10% of all the platform revenues, and in essence, the benefit for us is that we have a royalty on the REdao passes, right? So as people trade the REdao passes, right, if the value of them go up, right, we collect royalties from them, and then that goes into our treasury. And in essence, it's also to kind of cultivate a more hardcore community of core believers, right? That's why there's a limited amount of them. So, and we also have a REdao pass channel in our Discord. So it's for the more, how do you say, people who are really like invested into REdao and want to become like more, how do you say, active community members. That's what the passes are really for.
Cool. So what is Limitless? We haven't really covered that. We're
Yes.
trying to
So
jump to tokenomics.
yes. So Limitless is basically, you could say, a token launcher with a twist, right? So the current token launching meta is currently kind of, you know, they have their token launchers, but they all graduate to Radium or some other platform. And when the tokens graduate, they end up losing the revenue that's coming in from those tokens being traded, right? So Limitless is essentially, how do you say, an upgraded format of REdao, but mixed in with the current meme token launching meta.
I'll bring it up. I'll bring up the Twitter. What is the Limitless Twitter?
It's limitless_pump.
Sorry, that's not how you spell pump. Okay. So is this the best post to show?
This is our, so currently it's still under development. So, you know, feel like, you know, hyping it up and then keeping people on a string is like, you know, how do you say, not beneficial, right? So when we're closer and closer to launching, then we're going to start posting more. But currently this is basically the overview, right, of how Limitless works. And this thread kind of details basically everything that we want to do with it. So in essence, it's taking the best parts from NFTs, right, from REdao, right, and like basically all of our experience in crypto and making something completely new that, you know, is again non-extractive and beneficial to the wider ecosystem. And like the main underlying key point that we kind of have here is that there's a problem in crypto and it's too extractive, right? And when it's too extractive, we can't collateralize our coins. And you know, when you have like the S&P 500 or stocks and shares, like those guys keep on going up because they can always borrow against it, right? You have capital efficiency. And in essence, we can't really do that in crypto, right? Because the volatility is too far and wide. So we need some sort of way to fix the collateralization problem. So then we can fix the extraction problem as well. And in essence, the floor price is kind of the fix for that, right? Because we have a minimum guaranteed value, which means that you can borrow at those LTVs without risking liquidation, right? So you can kind of feel safe holding this token. It won't go below this. And at the same time, you can borrow against it, without feeling that you'll get liquidated overnight when you're sleeping. So in essence, this is the core of Limitless. It's taken that floor price concept, right? And then the fun trading concept from all these bonding curves that have been popping up.
Okay. So when is Limitless coming out?
So currently we are basically we have optimized the curves, right? Because optimizing the curves to have the most kind of fun trading experience has been quite a challenge. But we have now optimized those. So now it's all about, kind of just wrapping up the code and the smart contract, making the UI and the UX, and then we're likely, this is dev talk, when devs say it's launching in 2 weeks and it's in a month, but I'm hopeful that it's going to be in September.
Okay. So, all right, sounds good. So I still wanted to keep this nice and short, but anything before we kind of end on some actionables, is there anything else that we should know right now about REdao or Limitless?
Yeah, I would like to add in that the platform usage incentives, they're kind of vague in this, but I would like to expand on them.
Sure.
And the whole idea is there that we're going to be tracking people who are trading, right, and keeping like a ranking system. And then we're going to have basically a continuous airdrop. So we're going to take all the revenue generated from Limitless. We're going to either bond or buy retokens, and then we're going to airdrop them to the traders, right? And this could be people who create memes or create markets, people who trade the markets, people who have the most volume. There's also this idea that we would have kind of like a lottery system, right? So even if you did one trade on Limitless, you would still be eligible to, in some small probability, to get an airdrop, right? So we want everyone to get rewarded or have the chance to be rewarded.
Great.
That was, yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, what are the actionables? So, I mean, obviously the first actionable, if you want to know more, the links will be below. Go and follow Limitless_pump for now, and REdao as well. And then Dev, I'll have your Twitter below. Dapper, I'll put yours as well. If you want to get an early, maybe REdao Pass is something you want to consider buying one of these. You gain a little bit more access, and also you have revenue share that goes back to this. What other things should we end as kind of actionables?
I think like you were mentioning, you can borrow on texture, but actually kind of like the lowest hanging fruit that's possible within REdao ecosystem right now. There's actually an arbitrage that exists in the market right now. So if you go on REdao.id, back onto that chart, this chart right here, you can see where the market price is actually above the 14-day bonding price. So right now you can actually come in and bond for 14 days. And hopefully if that market price stays, and it stayed there for about 19 days, 20 days, it stayed above this 14-day bonding price. So yeah, there's an arbitrage that exists within the market right now. So you bond for 14 days, and then you market sell, and you've got more Solana than what you bonded with.
Okay, so the 14-day bond price is this bottom line.
Yes. And the current market price is the green line.
Okay, so you buy here at a cheaper price.
Yes.
And then
you bond for 14 days, you give your soul, you get in 14 days, and then when you get it in the 14 days, if the market price is still above the 14-day bonding price, you've made the arbitrage.
Okay.
And it's been there for over 20 days, or at 20 days.
Oh wow. That's cool, but why aren't your own arbitrage bots just doing it?
I guess there's some time-based risk involved in this, so it's not an instant arbitrage. People are definitely doing it. The liquidity is very thick on RE right now. Because RE is such a great token to LP with, you can set the range at the the bonding prices and at the floor price, and you've basically, yeah, it's a really good token to LP with.
And the other thing is, I have like a small amount of re in here, so I can go and sell this right now.
Yes.
At get my 0.23 Sol, and then come back to REdao, zoom out, of course, bond Sol,
Yes.
and bond it for 14 days.
Yep.
0.23, and I'm going to get 25,000 re. Just made 1,000 re. Re to $1.
There we go. Our first arbor.
Okay, great. All right. Well, thanks for jumping on and explaining this. Hopefully this clears up something about REdao. REdao is like a little bit more, like it's hard to explain it really simply and really quick. Hence why this did not take 10, 15 minutes, but it's still a concise source. And I guess the thing to do now is just get amongst it, try out REdao, and then get ready for Limitless, which hopefully comes in September. Hopefully your dev prediction is a real life prediction. You won the first, but
I pray every night.
Great. All right, we'll basically end it there. We've got only one question, so any questions, come on up. Yes, I mean, you can answer this. I mean, I know the answer, but Dapper, answer this question if you can see that on the screen.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, it's very, like we're saying, REdao is here to recycle. Everything else is extractive. They have some crazy numbers for the amount that Pump.Fun has made in revenue through fees. They've actually moved up to a 0.1% fee. With Limitless, it's going to be 0.069% fee. So we have less of a fee, and the fees are 70% of the fees are recycled back into REdao and the airdrop that everyone's going to be getting.
And Pump.Fun, I think it's made around $80 million since launch. And the other thing is, like, I would say it's net negative for the ecosystem. They just take their Sol and they just sell it for stables. They don't stake it.
Yeah.
If you want to know who to stake it with, here it is. But they don't stake their Sol. They just sell it. They don't believe in the ecosystem. They're here to make a quick buck. So I do hope that Limitless manages to capture some of that market share and then continue to capture some of that market share. But it's a big task. And is it just you on it, dev? Just one dev?
For now, yes. But the whole idea is once revenue starts flowing, we can hire more devs and pay for them.
Great.
So, and then we can scale operations.
We have some front end people and UI UX designers and whatnot. So yeah, the website's going to look nice. But the back end, just one dev. It keeps it more streamlined and no one's interfering, and it's more safe, right?
I can move fast, right? I can iterate without having to update a bunch of people and manage a whole team, because I basically work, how do you say, 24/7 on this stuff. So yeah,
cool.
I feel like I can manage it.
All right. Well, we'll let you cook, and then once it comes out, we can do another live podcast.
I'm super down for that, Seb.
Let's do it.
Thanks for your time, gents. We'll end the stream. Thanks for tuning in, everybody, and we'll catch you in the next video. Cheers.
Thank you, Seb. Thank you for having us. Have a great day.
Cheers.
Thank you.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.